Welcome to our highlight show of the Terence de Bruin Cup, which is the precursor to the Supersport Wheelchair Basketball Series, which starts tomorrow here at the Vodacom Mandeville Indoor Centre in Bez Valley on the east side of Johannesburg. Hi, I'm Andy Scott, and together with my co-commentator Kevin Smith and the Supersport team, we're really looking forward to a fantastic Supersport Wheelchair Basketball Series in 2019. But before that, there was this little matter of the qualifiers, who would play, how would they get there, and to tell us about the Terence de Bruin Cup, which is the precursor to the Super Series, here's Charles Saunders, the CEO of Wheelchair Basketball South Africa.
In the old days, and I'll have to say the old days from the 1970s all the way up into the 1980s, we had something called the Karamas Cup, and that was representative of all club championships that took place in South Africa. When the Karamas Cup came to an end, we created the club championships for South Africa, and of course we always remember our fallen heroes. Terence de Bruin was one of the greatest players that played for our South African team, and in memory of him we created the Terence de Bruin Cup. We had to seriously look at our competition strategy and where we're going and which direction we need to move into. So what we did was, after a think tank, we created something called the Provincial Club Championship Leagues, and this happens in all the provinces. From there, a formula is devised where the top 12 teams then qualify for the Terence de Bruin Cup, and of the 12 top teams being played on knockout and conference games, it decides the top 6 teams that qualify for the Supersport Series. So it's an ongoing program, and the whole idea behind it is that there's basketball starting from January all the way through to November in the year.
So after a lengthy process to determine who plays in the Supersport Series, it came down to the last 2 weekends, and we start with our highlights with Sunday's matches, which included the playoffs for 5th and 6th, and unfortunately only one semi-final being played, and that was due to a disqualification occurrence resulting in the Spears forfeiting their game against the Eagles. That final 6 would go through to the Super Series. The first game on the Sunday before the semi-finals was the playoff for the 5th and 6th position, and that was the Mongoose up against the Suns. It was the Mongoose and the Suns who battled it out for 5th and 6th places in the Terence de Bruin Cup. Most importantly for them, though, they have qualified for the 2019 Supersport Wheelchair Basketball Series. The Suns prevailed and came away with a really handsome win, courtesy of Imzaleni and Ayabonga Jim. Next on court would be the only semi-final of the day, and that would pit the Pretoria Wolverines, highly fancied I may add, up against the Vaal River Lions. Kevin Smith has the team sheets.
So the lineup for the Wolverines today, and they boast 3 national players, and likes of Jaco Van at number 7, Tabani Change at number 12, and Safiso Gama at number 14. And look at that team to lean on those 3 players quite heavily. The Vaal River Lions, on the other hand, they have 4 national players: Tandili Zonke at number 7, Moletti at number 10, and Mbele at number 13, and Cecil Dumont at number 14. And they don't have too many low pointers, so they have to be very careful for their point count on the court today.
And the match officials for this first semi-final of the Terence de Bruin Cup: on the left of screen it's Charles Foster, in the middle it's Haile Bokalani, and on the right it's Adam Maroki. It's game on here at the Vodacom Mandeville Indoor Centre. It is 2 of the top clubs fighting for their places in the Supersport Series that is yet to come, but this is the first semi-final of the Terence de Bruin Cup. And in the white and red, it's the Pretoria Wolverines playing left to right on your screen, and they're up against the Vaal River Lions in the blue playing right to left. So these clubs looking to take their places in the Supersport Series that will follow.
Yeah, Andy, they are, they got most of their top players in there, and particularly their national players. There's 4 national players on the Vaal River Lions side, and 3 on the Pretoria Wolverines. The Wolverines have a lot of one-pointers. I would imagine Lions would be the stronger team this, but let's see how it all develops.
He'll want to pop these free shots away, get that confidence up. Easy as you like on the first.
Yeah, nice clean shot from him. He was fouled by Safiso Gama from the Wolverines.
Well, the perfect start from Mbele, playing at number 13 for the Vaal River Lions.
That's exactly how free shots should be taken. Foul. And Tabane Changi just acknowledging it with one Rasamanga Belly, so he's going to have another 2 free shots.
Well, Kevin, if his first 2 attempts are anything to go by, there should be a cakewalk.
I don't think you should speak, Andy.
The commentator's curse, missing out on that free shot, but at the moment it's the Lions doing the business against the highly fancied Wolverines.
Great defence there from the Wolverines. Full court press here from the Vaal River Lions again.
Fanika managing just to flick it through. Some better play, and that's the account that's been opened now for the Wolverines. A nice move that was finished off by Safiso Gama.
Yeah, it was a great pass from Darnie Smith as well. Had the vision to see him.
Tandile Zonke is mobile as ever.
Yeah, and from his favourite side. Tandile Zonke always on the left of the key.
The Wolverines need to be very careful when Zonke gets his eye in from his favourite spot, providing he doesn't get too excited. Still one of the top players on the court. Fanika looking for a release. It's been well marked by Tandile Zonke, forcing a long shot from Tabane Changi, and that really went nowhere near.
Yeah, he had to go, but it was a bit of a forced shot because the seconds were ticking away. And you heard the who to go as the ball left his hand.
Excellent defense from Tandile Zonke for the Lions. So the Wolverines really going to have to work out this offense against a very strong defense. Moletti pushes it across the court, and it comes into Cecil Dumont. Easy as you like, a very well worked basket. Wolverines ball. So Gama needs to do some work with that ball, perhaps just holding out a little too long. Turned out to be a very good pass.
Yeah, he was just waiting for the setup to happen from Jaco van Niekerk, the man who scored that basket in picture now.
Always got to be careful though, because that clock is ticking, and had Van Niekerk been held out there, it may have forced yet another long shot, but it all worked out for the good, and Van Niekerk ending off what turned out to be a really good move. But there is a very quick response, positive response.
Yeah, Tandile Zonke. That's good work from Tabane Changi, just getting himself into space. This is Van Niekerk. Just handling his chair well and finishing off with a great basket.
That was a very positive basket. Wolverines creeping back into this game. It was really going to be a matter of time. They just needed to settle down. Basket for basket, and Kevin, from an early season point of view, although this is a club competition, it's still Terence de Bruin Cup. Very encouraging to see such positive shooting.
Yeah, it's been excellent shooting from both sides when they've had the shot apart from that forced long shot, but Wolverines just throwing the ball away there. Puts the Lions back on attack.
Well, just as we were talking about great shooting.
Yeah. The Lions are doing well. They are feeding the man of the moment, Tandile Zonke.
Kama looking for that long shot. What a positional play that was. He took all his time, took it off the backboard, straight off the glass. A very, very good shot from Gama. Well, that's the national coach Lydia Dumont, and her face doesn't tell very much, but she didn't look over impressed when she had a quick glimpse up at the scoreboard. Her side trailing at the moment, the Vaal River Lions, but they won't be trailing for long if they can put those kind of shots up.
Yeah.
And that was the excellent skills of Cecil Dumont. Yep, he is in fact the husband of the national coach, but she takes no prisoners, believe you me. Outstanding basket.
Yeah, Tabani Changi.
Tabani Changi coming into his own. The Vaal River Lions holding out though in this early quarter, and how about that? I wonder who's been doing some serious homework in the shooting, and it's this man, Tandile Zonke. Importantly, Kevin, we all know he's a bit of a hothead at times, but when he's controlling himself, he is danger personified.
Yeah, he certainly is, and he can keep us cool, which he seems to be managing to do these days. But excellent pass to Safiso Gama.
Into the second quarter, it's the Vaal River Lions that are doing the business here at the Vodacom Mandeville Indoor Centre in this first semi-final of the Terence de Bruin Cup, and it's them who puts up the first shot. Not too successful on that occasion, allowing the Wolverines now to come back, and Wolverines going to have to make this deficit, one would think, quite early, because if the team in blue are allowed to consolidate, and here's another breakaway.
Yeah, Van Niekerk just trying to stop the ball from going over the halfway line for the Wolverines. Put Tandile Zonke away, but the second bite of the cherry, he picks up a basket.
Just didn't get the flight on the ball and the power behind the shot.
Good layup there from Van Niekerk. Just put himself in space.
So the Vaal River Lions will be quite happy if it stays at a basket for basket situation, because they've got this healthy lead.
And Moletti just using his speed to steal that ball away from the Wolverines. Daniel Mpaki overshooting badly. That was a sitter for him.
It was also very well set up. The pass to Mpaki, one would have thought he was expecting it, but this is Gama. And there's a loose man coming up on the side. This is Donnie Smith. Big pressure. And those shots are always big pressure, the open attempts at the basket, because they're the ones that generally seem to just get the better of you. You've got too much time on your hands.
Yeah, we've seen much better shooting compared to last year from a couple of the players that are on court today. Donnie Smith, one of them.
Zonke just doing his bit for the game at the moment. Mpaki, familiar shooting position for Mpaki. He loves it when he can just twist that elbow. A couple of long shots going up now.
Yeah, wrong side for Tandile Zonke. It's not his favourite side, but
finally the Wolverines do pick up a loose ball, but they give it straight back to the Vaal River Lions, and Tandile Zonke with probably the easiest shot in the game that he's had so far, and he's just starting to rush a few shots.
Yeah, I think he's actually relaxed a bit too much, and now he's getting frustrated with himself.
Tabani Changi doing well eventually, but this clock is starting to tick down.
Yeah, Wolverines a bit not far by Van Niekerk. That long shot, he had to put the shot up because of the 24 seconds elapsing. shooting's really got off the boil for the Vaal River Lions.
Great pass across to Donnie Smith, but not able to control the ball. It's been picked up by the speedster. Here he comes. Another turnover for the Vaal River Lions. Great basket. Tandile Zonke restoring that 8-point deficit. Bringing it away now for the Wolverines. Gama with the shot. Reduces the deficit to 6. Good shot and very good shooting in general from the Wolverines, and in particular Gama. He's tucked away some very useful shots.
Yeah, it's very interesting because he's taking his time over the shots, even if he's under pressure.
And that's exactly what he needs to do. He's always that extra 1,000, 2,000, as they say. Just count it, focus. Mpaki, well, that's what he is capable of doing.
Good interplay with Mpaki from Tandile Zonke.
Zonke saw the opportunity there, and a well-constructed basket from the Vaal River Lions. Jaco van Niekerk under big pressure, no problem. I'll take those two.
He wanted the foul as well, and he should have got it.
Watch your man. What's the number? What you've got?
Shot goes up for the Vaal River Lions. It was a very well shot, set up shot there for Moletti, and he took his time, capitalized, 2 easy points. And importantly, they still keep that deficit at 8. So it's actually been even Stevens in this particular quarter with just on 4 minutes left in this first semi-final of the Terence de Bruin Cup.
Intercept there from Moletti. He read it well.
Read it extremely well. Feeds it through to Tandile Zonke. Zonke puts up the shot. Misses out in the first. So Tandile Zonke. Quick word in the ear from the coach. Zonke sets himself for the second, and the second one does drop, barely, but it does drop, and he'll take it.
Make yourselves available. Get over.
The Wolverines are a little guilty of bunching at the back at the moment, Kevin.
Yeah, they're not moving and using the space of the court, Andy. They're not. And that just coming off Tandile Zonke's hand. The top clubs are playing it off to secure their berths in the Super Series. Daniel Mpaki stealing that ball and finishing it off himself.
When we look at the likes of Mpaki today, Tandile Zonke, obviously, Gama, the shooting just seems to be so much more positive.
Yeah, it certainly does, Andy, especially Mpaki's been a bit on and off, but particularly Tandile Zonke, he also went through a bit of a rough patch, but yeah, seems to be a lot more positive with their shots. But yes, you were saying, Andy, Willie Mulder hasn't called any timeouts, but he's been barking a lot of orders from the sidelines.
It's their time for a couple more baskets still in this second quarter. And there definitely is, if Tandile Zonke has got anything to do with it. What a game he is having.
Half-time situation with the Vaal River Lions nicely in the driving seat. Just look at the 2-pointers. That's where the business end of the match is, and you're looking at 11 out of 18 shots there for the Wolverines, 61%. and 15 out of 39, 38%. Very low for the Lions. They went through a bit of a rough patch there. And their turnovers, big time problem for the Wolverines, 19 there. There's a good breakdown of where the points have come for both teams. And you see 43% of them under the basket for the Lions and 50% under the basket for the Wolverines. Wolverines having to shoot quite a lot from a fair distance, 61% in the blue there.
Into the second half we go with the Wolverines trailing by 10. They are in the white and the red, and here come the Vaal River Lions. Straight onto the attack. Tandile Zonke immediately up with the shot and immediately takes another 2 points in an outstanding performance thus far. And if you've just joined us, remember this is the first semi-final of the Terence de Bruin Cup. And here again you see the bunching problem that the Wolverines have had. Gama's got no one to pass to. There's nobody breaking free.
There's also nobody coming to assist them, but that's part of the defense of the Lions because they're not letting the other players move.
Absolutely. Let's not take anything away from that rock-steady defense. Unfortunate pass, didn't find his destination.
Yeah, I don't think Samanga Beli was expecting it. He was waiting for the rebound.
And it is good defense because it's not as if the Wolverines haven't got the speed. They've got some big men out on the court, but they've still got the speed, and they should be able to break away and at least give some assists. And how about that for some smart team play from...
Yeah, big overlap for the Lions.
Tandile Zonke, they're just flicking it through to his old teammate Moletti. Made no mistake. And
Moletti's stolen the ball now.
Moletti just bypassing all the traffic. A little bit of a late sliding dive coming in.
Trying to tackle him low but didn't connect, but committed a foul in the process. So free shot sodden for Moletti. Tabani Changi, the guilty man who committed the foul. Tabani Changi sitting on 3 collective fouls at the moment. Or 3 fouls, 3 personal fouls.
Good hands, Wiseman.
So Wiseman, Lamini just managing to
push them wider.
Force that shot away. It stays possession though to the Vaal River Lions. Gama comes away. And yet again he's got very few options in terms of where he can pass the ball off to, but there was a good pass to Van Niekerk, and Van Niekerk managing to get quite a difficult shot away.
Yeah, Van Niekerk always seems to stay nice and cool.
So an improvement on defense there from the Wolverines, forcing that long shot from Tandile Zonke. This is Gama playing at number 14 for the Wolverines, looking to link up, and there was a free man. This is an open basket opportunity.
Wiseman Lamini, but still got it, and
had it.
Gama also missing.
So Wiseman Lamini missing a sitter, and there's the response from Tandile Zonke. Just keeps that scoreboard ticking over for the Vaal River Lions. Shooting around about 50%. And here's a golden opportunity for the youngster, and he'll be very happy to get his name on the score sheet, and that is Wam Mshemla. His first basket of the game.
Moletti just trying a hook shot, but not going down. I don't think Donnie Smith's got the speed to get there.
Didn't have the speed, and I haven't seen a lot of Donnie Smith in this game.
Gaan vir die bal, Donnie. Kom terug, recover nou.
Zonke just pops it into the middle, and it's easy as you like. One-way traffic at the moment for the Vaal River Lions as Samanga Mbele just finishes off that little move.
What is that now, man? Come on.
There was
Possible.
Flamini just losing control of the ball, just flicking it over, had to get it over the halfway line, but just gave possession to the Lions. Samanga Mbele finishing off.
We're just not seeing the hunger from the Wolverines at the moment. Well, Kevin, one thing's for sure, when the Vaal River Lions merge to the Lions team as we know them into the Super Series, they'll be bolstered perhaps by one or two other players. Once they become the franchise side, they're going to be a tough nut to crack in the season. They're playing excellent basketball, motivated, good defense, good offense, and just to wrap it up, excellent shooting as well.
Certainly, Andy.
Here come the Vaal River Lions, playing very relaxed basketball. One or two little moments of frustration, but generally cool, calm and collected.
Stay on your man. Stay on your man.
Zonke on the buzzer, had to go for the shot. And again, Kevin, that's where you see the improvement of the defense being put on now by the Wolverines, forcing the shots.
Off of the ball now.
Yeah, unfortunately
What's
there was
the
a
man behind
foul committed, but it looks like it was committed by the Lions. So Wolverines in possession.
Go, Beach, go.
Kirk manages to get it off to Gama, and here's a little hook shot that actually does drop. Donnie Smith, who was saying we haven't seen a huge amount, but that was very effective. Broke his way into the key. And maybe the fourth quarter presents, particularly the Lions, the opportunity to try out a few moves and maybe bring on a couple of the other players, because it's a very healthy lead at the moment. Wiseman, Lamini picking it up. Seconds are ticking down now. Their shot must go up, does go up, and goes down.
Yeah, another good move from the Wolverines, this time resulting in the basket from Gama.
5 from 11, Gama. That was the last basket of that third quarter. The Wolverines get the fourth and final quarter underway here at the Vodacom Mandeville Indoor Centre in the first semi-final of the Terence de Bruin Cup. A healthy lead for the Vaal River Lions, so lots of work for the Wolverines to do.
Get back, Donnie, get back.
Just looking at the quarter scores, Andy, you know, the first quarter was a big one for the Lions. They won that 20 points to 12, obviously, and then the second quarter 13-11 over the Wolverines, and the third quarter 12-10 over the Wolverines. So not all the damage really being done in the first quarter.
Just lucky for the Bani Shanga that he'd actually still able to take that ball in his own half. He just crossed the line. So all good. Donnie Smith, offload.
Great intercept there by Samanga Mbele, feeding it off to Tandile Zonke.
And a very well worked basket. Tandile Zonke offloading it, and it came straight back to him. He was a little far under the basket, but able to convert it and take yet another 2 points. So Tandile Zonke has taken 11 from 26 attempts. And under this kind of pressure, that's not too bad. Well, easy as you like. Jaco van Niekerk.
Yeah, didn't bother turning around and taking a proper layup, just did a neat little hook shot.
Watch to the side.
So the Vaal River Lions protecting this lead. It is starting to just slip away a little. It had gone out to almost 20 points. It's now back to 12.
Wiseman, there was contact. You can't complain.
Zonke just made that adjustment. He had 2 free shots a little earlier, and both of them just needed that little bit of adjustment, particularly on the aligning the wrist to the elbow, and he's done it on both occasions there. So made the adjustment. Experienced player, knew exactly what to do.
Yeah, Wolverines doing the right thing, trying to get it over the halfway line quickly, gives them more time on their attack, but that pass just going a bit wayward over Jaco van Niekerk from Wiseman to Lamini.
But they're still sitting with a problem, Kevin, where the reason for that long pass is being created by a lack of players trying to get over the halfway line. They are being held back by the Lions, but certainly there needs to be more mobility and more movement from the Wolverines. They've got to start crossing that line and getting up there in numbers.
Brilliant basket there from the Lions. Yeah, but you're right, Andy. The Lions are putting on that very effective full court press, and the Wolverines sitting in a bunch. It's very easy to mark.
Well, here's an example. He's been isolated as Jaco van Niekerk. He's got nowhere to go, no one to pass to. He's being held out, and now it's going to be a situation of that clock is going to be ticking down, putting all the pressure on the shooter.
Yeah, Wiseman Lamini had his eyes on the basket, and that was rightly so, but Tandile Zonke went through there, and he enjoyed that. Took a bit of a tumble, but he stopped the basket happening.
So Tandile Zonke able to smile at that one.
And the problem that they had with that was Lamini had about 3 seconds to put that shot up.
So the Lions almost plying their trade at leisure right now. They've taken their foot off the pedal as such, just enjoying their basketball, trying out a couple of shots. Some of them dropping, some of them not. That one certainly did.
Yeah, Samanga Mbele, much better from him.
Help us the ball now.
Mbele. So, again, is that situation. This time there is a free opportunity, and you just can't miss those very simple layups. But good tidying up there by Gama. Sifiso Gama coming back in. Difficult shot under the basket, but managed to just loop the ball off the glass and takes those 2 points. 6 from 12. Also shooting at 50%, so for the big man, it's quite a good outing.
Nice relaxed attack from the Lions. And Dumond just finishing it off. But the Wolverines were very static in their defense.
Well, this time they did manage to get ahead of the chasing pack, take those 2 points. Another 2 points for Sifiso Gama.
Yeah, much better from Gama and the Wolverines this time.
Keep him wide.
Smoletti, then Zonke.
Zonke controlling it one-handed, balancing it.
Gonna be a foul and 2 shots. Much better shot there from Tandile Zonke this time. Nice and clean, not bouncing around.
That was that adjustment we were talking about, and he's seems to have made it to perfection on that last shot. Can he do it again? You bet he can do it again. That wasn't a replay, folks. That was actually the second shot. Almost identical. 4 from 7, so early stages in the season. But the coach and, of course, the player will be happy with that kind of average. It's not that easy sitting at that height and just plonking away free shots all day, but players of this caliber should be able to do it.
And Donnie Smith having a run at the basket there, but just taken away from him by Mazantsana.
Fanico doing the right thing, passing it to the better player. A lot of players would have attempted that shot, but he was too far under the glass and he knew it. So he gave it off to Tabani Shange, who took the 2 points.
Hey, Tabani, turn.
Sofisogama somehow got it through to Jaco Van Niekerk's looking for the shot. He's got a lot of attention being paid, and that looks like a foul has been called.
Yeah, on Moletti, it always would be.
Van Niekerk, first shot, perfect. Textbook. Quick little shake hands. And the second one, he'll take it. Bobbled around a bit, but it's as good as the first, although it wasn't as tidy. And the Vaal River Lions, they'll just have to play this game out. Excellent little flick back from to Tandile Zonke, but just clipping another chair and taking a tumble. He's earned 2 free shots though.
Yeah, it's going to be on 2 free shots, so it's a collective foul situation. Wolverines on collective fouls.
Well, now it looks like he could sit and do it all day. He's taken 5 from the last 5. Got his eye in. That elbow's doing the work. Wrist action's great. Bingo. Donnie Smith over the line. Tabani Shange.
Just running straight into his block there.
And this is a golden opportunity. Wham and Shimela not able to convert it. Looking for experience. And he'll be one of the youngsters that will hope to make the franchise side to go through into the Super Series when the Wolverines do come back to full strength. Remember, this is still at club level. And the Super Series will follow the Terence de Bruin tournament now. That was Moletti at his best. That's what he can do. Wolverines looking to have the last say in the game. And they may just have done that. Just 10 seconds left and counting. Vaal Lions would love to get to the 65 mark, which is always the magical figure, but it doesn't look as if they can achieve that unless there's a long shot going up. There is one going up too, and well. Is that counts. The play of the day? It could well be. That's 3 points on the buzzer. And here is confirmation, full time here at the Vodacom Mandeville Indoor Centre in the first semi-final of the Terence de Bruin Cup. It's the Vaal River Lions who have beaten the Wolverines convincingly, 65-47.
Full-time story for the match against the Wolverines versus the Lions. The 2 pointers is the business end, 54% average for the Wolverines and 36% for the Vaal Lions, but they put up far more shots, giving them a bigger scoreline. Turnover is a big problem for the Wolverines at 38. Point analysis again, the majority of the shots for the Wolverines coming in the blue. That's outside of the area under the key. Close enough there, but at 50% under the key, but still not good enough. And you see the Vaal Lions putting up, hitting 2 out of 6 3-pointers.
A fantastic performance then by the Vaal River Lions, and the Wolverines wondering just what happened. We caught up with the 2 coaches after the game.
Yeah, Andy, since we got Tandile Zonke with us and Daniel Mccoy, the Wolverines is not a factor to me anymore. So I told them what to do, and unfortunately they did not do it, so the score would have been bigger.
I think we had a better shooting percentage than what they've got. But I think the biggest problem was the fitness levels and the execution when you've got the easy opportunities. Now if they put the easy baskets in, you put the pressure back on the other team, and if you keep on missing, the other team keep on scoring. So it is like everybody has got the same chances to score if you get to the what's the name. If you can't use your opportunities, you're going to be under pressure the whole time.
So in a game that certainly had many, many highlights, there was undoubtedly one play of the day, and here it is, featuring Samange Mbele at his absolute best on the buzzer. VAR lines would love to get to the 65 mark, which is always the magical figure, but it doesn't look as if they can achieve that unless there's a long shot going up. There is one going up too, and well. Is that the play of the day? It could well be. If you've been wondering how the teams are actually selected and who gets to play wheelchair basketball, well, in a nutshell, 14 points are allowed on the court at any particular point in time. Players are graded in accordance with their ability as opposed to their disability, and here's a little insert that'll hopefully give you a better understanding of exactly how the formula works.
Hello, I'm Alan Mtatase, one of wheelchair basketball's national coaches. In order for you to play wheelchair basketball, you got to have a physical disability with lower limb impairments. Classification is used to determine the class of your disability. In layman terms, paraplegics will fall in the class 1 to 2, polio from 3 to 3.5, amputees from 4 to 4.5. From a team of 5 players to take court, their classification should not exceed 14 points. That differentiates wheelchair basketball to running basketball. Example of myself, I'm a typical 1.5 because of the polio through my hips, my left arm, and I only got like mobility from my waist upwards. A typical example for my balancing, I'm sitting in a much deeper chair for me to have balance, unlike my friends Ziggy and Jack.
How are you, viewers? My name is Tawana Luther Ziki. I'm an international Zimbabwean wheelchair basketball player, classified as a 3.5. The reason being I'm below knee, amputated, and a hand deformity, which differs from one of my colleagues, Jack, who is a 4.5. We share the same features, like my upper body strength. Even my chair sitting position is almost the same, but because of the hand deformity, it differs. Hence, it was classified as a 3.5.
Hi, I'm Jack Mccoy, a wheelchair basketball national team player. I'm a 4.5 classified player. As you can see, that only have below the knee amputee, and I have complete balance on my chair, unlike the low class classified players. Hence, you see my chair is more of a level, straight, and the backrest is a bit lower, and that's why I'm so good.
All right, that's a wrap. Wheelchair basketball and able-bodied basketball is exactly the same. The only difference is we're much quicker.
And so then to the final of the Terence de Bruin Cup for 2019. This promised to be a mouth-watering affair, and of course it was between the Lions and the Eagles.
Getting through to the finals, it was a bit hectic, and we approach each game differently because every of these teams have got different style of play. So each and every time we go for a game, we get to know, as we know their style of play, how is it, they like pressing man to man. So now from our side is getting to break that press. Then once you start breaking that press, then now we play smart because we are going to be able to break the press, but now is how to outsmart them in their press that they're going to be playing.
We haven't played them before, and it's just to, before the Supersport, to show who's the boss of the court. And if they realize it early, then I don't have a problem for Supersport.
The final of the Terence de Bruin Cup would offer the first silverware and bragging rights for the 2019 season, and the clash between the Lions and the Eagles promised to be a tight affair. From the get-go, it was clear that both teams had brought their renowned defensive games to the party, but it was the Lions who broke through first with a great confidence booster from their stalwart number 13, Simange Mbele. He'd been set up with some excellent vision from playmaker Rakhetsi Molete to score from the right-hand side of the court. Lions speedster Tandile Zonke was at his awesome best, reining in a few trademark shots, which included an offload from the Eagles' backboard, and that was after a panic attempt by the Eagles' attack. Mbele had been very quick to spot the agile Zonke, who simply pivoted his way around the helpless defender Alan Matatsi to score an impressive layup. Marcus Retief impressed for the Eagles with his customary shots from the lap. He scored an impressive tally of 12 points during the game. Long shot from Retief proved that he can do it from any side of the court when the man is on form. Loads of experience from the burly number 4. Alan Matatsi is probably one of the most improved players in the country, also said about the court, and he weighed in with a very valuable 15 points. Simange Mbele had certainly impressed for the Lions with a tally of 32 points on his personal account. Rakhetsi Molete not too far behind with 15, and never to be outdone. Tandile Zonke, great all-round performance. He'd scored 20 points. Might be a bit of a concern for the coach that all 67 points came from 3 players. The Lions also had their stars on the day, and of course it was the old stalwart Marcus Retief. He'd taken 12 points, Alan Matatsi with 15, and Jack Mccoy on 14. In the game summary, it was the Eagles who had led off to the first 20 points to 14. Big quarter from the Lions, 38-27 at the break, and it was the Lions who then held on even Stevens in terms of the scoring, 51-41 at the end of the third. Final score, 67-58 in favor of the Lions.
Well, during the practice this week, I told the boys just to focus on our game. They don't have to focus on the Eagles' gameplay because we're practicing the same style. As Anele is my assistant coach at the national side, so we know what we are doing and I know what he will be doing. But at the end of the day, it was just, I think our hearts were in it more than the Eagles was.
Is there anything to worry about from the other teams in the Supersport series this year?
I played against all the big ones now, so no, not actually.
What a season of wheelchair basketball lies ahead. 6 sides contesting the Supersport series, and all the national players and even the national coaches will be on display on this showcase of wheelchair basketball. The 2019 Super Series runs from the 17th of August until the 26th of October. And if you can't get down to the Vodacom Mandeville Indoor Centre to support your favourite team, join us for the next highlights, and they'll come to you on the 23rd of August. Until then, it's goodbye.